Hi there, it's Kevin with RogueDeckBuilder.com here with another brew with Corpse Knight. So I'm going to keep the Corpse Knight trend going here. And this is an updated list to my Liliana Untouched by Death deck that I played, I think before rotation actually is the last time we played Liliana's Untouched by Death. I've had a few iterations of this. Don't know if I've showcased them on the channel or not, but this is my latest brew. Again, this is a very casual deck. I would not suggest running this at a tournament. It is very janky, but it is fun when it works. So I've got it right now in kind of a Oath of Kaya Teferi Time Raveler shell, because those are cards that are very good at stalling the game, and that is exactly what we needed for this deck. So the combo is Liliana Untouched by Death with Arcane Adaptation. So these two together will pair with the Liliana's -2 or -3, saying you can cast zombie cards from your graveyard, and the Arcane Adaptation stating that you can choose any creature type, and all creatures in your graveyard and in your hand and library are the chosen type, and you're going to, of course, choose zombies for the Liliana combo. Then the zombies that we are going to cast back are going to be Corpse Knight. Corpse Knight says whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, each opponent loses 1 life. And the Cruel Celebrant, whenever Cruel Celebrant or another creature or planeswalker you control dies, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Then we're also going to have the Chamber Sentry, which is our other enabler here, so you can cast this for 0 from your graveyard if you have Arcane Adaptation back, and then you just go infinite with it, and also just a 1 of Ugin's Conjurant. Now, there is the Diligent Excavator that you can also run in the place of both the Corpse Knight and the Cruel Celebrant. However, I think that we're just going to run these two. This one's a zombie, so of course you want to go Corpse Knight, because it does just allow you to get some synergy with Liliana. With Liliana's +1, if you happen to dump this into the graveyard, which you end up using Liliana's +1 quite often with the deck, you can at least gain 2 life and do 2 damage to your opponent. Diligent Excavator could easily be Cruel Celebrant. I'm just running Cruel Celebrant in this particular list. Probably should be the Diligent Excavator. One thing I know about Diligent Excavator, it takes a lot longer to mill your opponent, and there is more clicks involved. So anything to reduce the clicks is always nice in MTG Arena, because there is no looping or opponent being able to pass priority and whatnot. And most people do make you go through the combo when you do have the combo. So the rest of the deck is just going to be basically trying to find the combo. We're going to run the Discovery to Dispersal. This is just going to Surveil 2, then draw a card, and Chart a Course. Chart a Course does have some synergy with just casting like an Ugin's Conjurant or a Chamber Sentry on turn number 1, and then ability just to draw 2 cards. You don't have to discard 2 cards with Chart a Course, so it just becomes card advantage. And I actually do like Search for Azcanta to try to really find the combo. This might just be a card that should go to the sideboard and then bring in cards like the Kaya's Wrath in the main. However, I don't know. Right now in the meta, it does seem to be pretty 50-50 between aggro decks and like decks like Scapeshift that aren't trying to be aggressive. So having more non-dead cards in game 1, if you're just playing a best of 1, is the route I like to go right now, and especially for showcasing the deck. Search for Azcanta in the main, I think, is probably where we want to be. Narset, just a 1 of, is going to help us dig. We do have some in the sideboard. We'll show the sideboard in a second. And then the Command the Dreadhorde is going to be very good too, because with the Surveil, we can safely throw anything in the graveyard except for Arcane Adaptation. So with the early Surveils and Chart of Courses, feel free to dump your Lilianas. You can Command the Dreadhorde. In fact, Command the Dreadhorde might want to be a 3 of. Maybe Narset wants to be in the sideboard. Still haven't decided on the route to go. You probably don't want to be throwing lands away. We are being very greedy on our mana base, because this is an arena deck with 22 lands, with 4 Watery Graves, 4 Drowned Catacombs, 4 Isolated Chapels, 4 Godless Shrines, 4 Hallowed Fountains, and 2 Glacial Fortresses. So that is our mana base. The sideboard is just going to have proactive cards versus the decks that we need to definitely take care of. So Duresses and Thought Erasures versus Control. Oath of Kaya, of course, will come out, and those cards will come in. 1 of Cast Down. This probably should be a Kaya's Wrath instead of Cast Down, but Cast Down is a good removal spell. And 2 Cry of the Carnariums. Cry of the Carnarium is a -2/2 to all creatures, and they get exiled. So most of the go wide strategies, this is where we have to really worry about. Dinosaurs might want to bring in Oath or Kaya's Wrath. In fact, I'm going to take out a Cast Down right now and put in a Kaya's Wrath from the board here. Wrath. Let's get out of lands here. And Maybe we should. We'll put a Narset in the sideboard and throw a Kaya's Wrath in the main. I don't know. Maybe let's put two. No, that's fine. I think we'll keep it as is. I'm going to just run one Kaya's Wrath in the sideboard. Dovin's Veto is good versus controlled X2 because he's going to counterspell whatever they're doing. And between Thought Erasure, Duress, Dovin's Veto, I think you've got everything pretty much covered and good to go with the combo. So that's the base of the deck list. Let's get on a few games. Don't have a lot of time tonight, but I'm going to play some best of ones. Just did pull off a turn 4 infinite combo with Liliana's Adaptation. I also am going to take Stanislav Sivka's deck, the historic mill, the legendary mill, and I think I'm going to toy around with it. So instead of going mill, I want to go Saheeli and see how well Saheeli works. So if you're not familiar with the combo, just Google Sivka mill. It should come up right now. It does run. We showcased it yesterday. Someone played against us. They're playing it properly. They're Ashiok-ing me when they should have been Ashiok-ing themselves, but regardless, it's a pretty good deck. I think this is barely keepable. We have the Hallowed Fountain, Godless Shrine, Chart Course, Oath of Kaya, and the Command the Dreadhorde, which is just nice here. So opponent just leads off with a Swamp. I'm just going to lead off with a Godless Shrine into play tapped. Probably should have actually done the Hallowed Fountain, because then if we draw an untapped land, we wouldn't have to do 2 damage to ourselves. So hopefully it's not vampires. Looking like it's not vampires. Let's see what it ends up being. It's going to be a pirate list. No, don't even know. Maybe some sort of control. We'll the Glacial Fortress anyway, so I'm just going to go ahead and chart a course. And we can throw away... Most likely we can actually just throw away the Liliana here because we're going to go for the Command the Dreadhorde. I think that's actually fine. Maybe we could do a Hallowed Fountain. I'm just going to throw Liliana away here because I want all my lands, so... Probably should have just thrown away Chamber Sentry. That was the right pick. Yeah, definitely was Chamber Sentry. But now we can cast Chamber Sentry on 3 and actually give us a blocker next turn. So it's some sort of reanimation with the Hostage Taker. All right, so that changes things. I think we're just going to Oath of Kaya one of these Seekers down. All right, so this is just old school Explore. Yeah, now I'm definitely kicking myself for the Oath of, No, it's still fine. I'm still okay with throwing Liliana because we have Command the Dreadhorde. So we just need to find an Arcane Adaptation. And we should be good. I'm just going to go blood for blood to put back a Seeker Squire and a Seeker Squire in hand. That's fine. So now Hostage Taker's in the graveyard. We have a Cavalier of Night that my opponent puts in the graveyard as well. We are drawing a lot of lands here. I still think the better thing to do was go ahead and Watery Grave. Enter tap. Tap this for a black. Tap this for a white. Undo that. Tap this for a blue. Tap this for a white. And then we'll go Chamber Sentry for 3. And that gives us a blocker, so we don't have to take any more damage. There's the Seeker Squire. And... so my opponent, I guess, was digging for lands. And now drawing the lands. So do I want just card advantage here? I think I just want to chart a course. And there's a Corpse Knight. So throw a Hallowed Fountain away. We'll go Glacial Fortress. No, we can just do another Hallowed Fountain into play tapped. Corpse Knight. And pass the turn. So we're looking for the Liliana's Adaptation, then we have the combo. So hopefully we can get there. This is a slower deck by my opponent. Not worried about a Tonebound Lich. Tonebound Lich is just going to loot. A decent card to actually run in this deck because it's a 1/3 Death Touch Lifelinker and also allows you to loot. And it is a zombie. So this is actually an option you can run over like Oath of Kaya in the deck. And maybe we'll have to try it out. Unfortunately, we are running into way too many lands. We're not ready for Command the Dreadhorde. We could get it ripped out of our hand. I doubt it, though. Well, let's go ahead and throw this into play tapped and pass the turn. Not looking good for us for the amount of lands we've drawn, though. We have 1 in the graveyard, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we're almost halfway through our lands. So we will just block here with... the Chamber Sentry. I actually should have not let my opponent gain a life. I don't think it's relevant, though. And there's another Command the Dreadhorde. Ay, ay, ay. Now definitely kicking myself. We still have to find the Arcane Adaptation, though. And the rest of our deck is just all about... Well, I'm going to do it because we can actually... Yeah, we can hit our opponent's stuff, too. So, yeah, I forgot about that. We're going to go Tomebound. We're going to go Hostage Taker. We're actually going to go the Cavalier. Let's say 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we don't want the Cavalier. And we'll look at my graveyard. And we'll do the Liliana. And this disses off some damage, and we'll take a Seeker's Squire from my opponent. And we find a Liliana. We'll just go ahead and throw a Hallowed Fountain away. And go ahead and plus Lily. Hopefully it doesn't find an adaptation. It does find the next card of adaptation. And then no attack. So, unfortunately, we're still in a bit of a pickle. That did a lot of damage to get back to stuff. So, Neoform is gonna can't get a Chupacabra, so just gets another Tomebound Lich. And Lich can throw away a land. What do I got going on here? I think that, like, there's another card you can put in the deck. You could put, you know what, probably like a one of the Return an Enchantment back from your graveyard. I believe, isn't Auramancer legal in Standard right now? Not quite sure. Well, let's just go ahead and cast this Seeker, just so we can Dora the Explorer and see if we can find a Arcane Adaptation. That can definitely go in the graveyard. I hate to do... Like, we can kill the Lich. No, we can't. We're going to go ahead and attack with the Tomebound. See if my opponent wants to block. That will give us another loot. There's a Chart of Course. Almost discarded it. We'll just discard another Chamber Sentry. At this point, I think the lands are better. Chart of Course will find us 2 more lands, so I guess lands aren't better. We'll go Liliana still. Oh, jeez. Finds other Arcane Adaptation. We are just getting very unlucky with the Lilianas. What else do we still have? Might be able to kill with just plain old damage, though. We'll be blocking with the Corpse Knight, my opponent. We'll actually block with Hostage Taker and... So that was very, very unlucky that both Arcane Adaptations were hit with Liliana. So maybe we'll have to look at that afterwards. If there's a return I know there's a return to permanent in green. It wouldn't be too hard, so my opponent just scoops it up. So we're going to go ahead and look at cards we have available for return to Aura. And I think that can take Narset's place. So... just see if anything just says enchantment. Or that's not an aura, though. It's just plain enchantment. Yeah, enchantment from graveyard. See if that actually throws it. So there's Tragic Poet. There is the Cavalier. Cavalier's not where we want to be. So is there not a... card in Standard right now that can just get us back an enchantment? I'm gonna go enchantment. Guessing there's no Auramancer at the moment. If you know in the comment section, I'm just missing one that works with enchantment from the graveyard. Then that would definitely be ideal. So let's see permanent. So there's Nature's Spire, which would be okay, but then that's in a green. And then there's the Hatchery Spider. But it doesn't look like we are having anything besides Golgari Finebroker, which is definitely unfortunate. So... yeah, the Salvage of Ruin is from the... it doesn't work either. Like, I thought about putting Tamiyo and splashing for green, but I think it's too hard at that point. I mean, 4-color is not terrible in the mana base we have right now, because Tamiyo could also dig. Like, Tamiyo can dig for the Arcane Adaptation, but at that point, I don't know if we were too far out. So Cavalier of Dawn is definitely interesting. I guess that's the only one that can do it, by returning a artifact or enchantment from your graveyard to hand after it dies. The mana is a little bit awkward on it, but maybe we should give it a try. We are playing, at this point, we probably need to go down in black sources and put more white sources. Now we'll try the one of Cavalier of Dawn, and let's throw out the Narset, and let's give this a go. That at least gives us another way to get back the Arcane Adaptation. So let's go ahead and play another one. It doesn't have a lot of synergy in the fact that we do have like a couple artifacts that we can target. So I'll have to wait and see if this is actually viable. Again, if you have something in the comment or in the if you have something, something that actually works for the deck, in the comment section, definitely let me know. I thought we had Aromancer. Why was I thinking Aromancer was in standard? But you did see the Tragic Poet, but Tragic Poet just seems awkward to get back. So I don't know. Maybe it is. Okay, we're going to keep this. It seems to have the typical control with Teferi. And see if we can get the combo to work. We are, unfortunately, having all the tap lands in the world. Those hurt. And now we can go with the Corpse Knight. And we have a 3/3 Chamber Sentry if our opponent... so hopefully our opponent puts out this is what, Feather? This looks like the mana base that Naya right now is Feathered. Some dinosaurs do run white at the moment. So Season of Growth, yeah, this is going to be Feather. So we're just going to go ahead, pay 2 life here to Teferi, and then return Season's Growth back. And then we'll Corpse Knight. And there's the 10th District. We'll Oath of Kaya that, most likely. All right, so, yeah, Teferi does die. Oath of Kaya right now. My opponent can't respond to it. It's one of their cards that are also a little low on mana. We'll go Hallowed Fountain. Yeah, we'll enter tap. I probably think the 3/3 Chamber Sentries are better putting out. Possibly not, but, I mean, we're just locking our opponent right now. See if Feather can come down. Because it's white, red, correct? I think it is. But then we'll Teferi if it is a Feather. We'll set our opponent back regardless. Maybe just leave back because of 10th District on the... no, we'll be able to cast a... all right, so Dreadhorde Arcanist. And I think it's worthwhile to Teferi that. Draw another card. There's another Oath of Kaya. We'll just pay 2 life with the Watery Grave. Go ahead and attack in with the Corpse Knight. And chart a course. At this point, card advantage is probably better. So we have a Search for Azcanta that's going to be nice. And if our opponent wants to kill a Teferi, they can kill a Teferi. Still low on the mana. I wouldn't be surprised if Dreadhorde Arcanist comes out here. Don't know if my opponent would have ran out of God's Willing. Okay, so there is a Liliana, so we're just going to go ahead and run this out. We're going to go ahead and Oath of Kaya. No pump spell, so that's good for us. And Search for Azcanta is pretty reliable. And I'm actually just going to pass it up. And my opponent's got another card. Another Haster. Oh, we had Teferi, so my opponent couldn't God's Willing. Har har. I should learn to read cards. So this is Azcanta Vanguard. Cool, we got some blockers for it. We got Chamber Sentry. Neat. Not a lot of life left for Azcanta to actually utilize it. And there's a God's Willing, sure. Guess because my opponent can't cast it any time else here. Really desperate for that Scry. And we are going to win just the traditional control route versus Feather. So let's see if we can find that Arcane Adaptation. Do I want... I think I actually want this on the... No, we'll graveyard it because we have a chance of drawing lands. Yeah, right there. So we'll plus Teferi again. And then go ahead and throw the Drowned Catacomb out. I'm going to go ahead and Dispersal. I could actually Dispersal here. That's pretty decent with the Azcanta, but I don't care about Azcanta Vanguard. And there's a Command the Dreadhorde. We'll throw away the Glacial Fortress. I want to keep Command the Dreadhorde, I would assume. And we could go Liliana. And my opponent's going to scoop. We're going to kill Azcanta Vanguard with Liliana. So don't get to find the combo either. My opponent just kind of struggled. We're struggling to find the card called Arcane Adaptation, which is funny. Right before I started recording, I did get two early victories with the deck, a turn 4 and a turn 5. The turn 4 was kind of funny because it was against the Sifka Mill, and they just went turn 4 Tameo, and I had turn 2 Corpse, turn 3 Arcane, turn 4, and then I had the 0 drop in my hand. So Arcane, we have the combo in hand here. Here we go. Here's a good one. So the only thing we need now is a land, and we're good. Temple of Mystery gives... That's pretty decent. So Command the Dreadhorde is kind of bad. Just going to not play Ugin's Construct because we're just going to go for the combo here. So this could be Flash, or it could be... Yep, it looks like it's Sifka Mill. Let's see if we're actually faster. Yeah, this is exactly the same matchup that was faster last time. So we can go Glacial Fortress. We can go Cruel Celebrant, pass the turn. And then next turn we can throw out the Arcane Adaptation. We just need that land. So this would be an easy turn 4 if we could just draw a land. Teferi would be a nice one to draw too because we can kind of set our opponent back. Ashiok is not that big of an issue. See if my opponent does it right. Everyone keeps milling me. Do they understand? There we go. There we go. Attaboy. All right, so we did find the Godless Shrine, pay 2 life, Arcane Adaptation, naming zombies. And then pass the turn. And we should be quicker than my opponent. So I don't believe they have the infinite combo quite yet. Now, that actually does do it. Othakaya does. Because now we have to find another... all depends. So now my opponent should Ashiok me. Oh, no, because it still, it still gets rid of my graveyard. So if Kaya does it, they typically, that is the run removal spell they do run. Does my opponent still hasn't found their combo piece? We could be running Ashiok in ours, I guess. So Liliana, it's okay just to run out, I would assume. So we'll just Godless Shrine. And go ahead and give a plus. No, I don't find anything at all, so pass the turn. So now we just need to find one of our cards, specifically being a Corpse Knight or a... Corpse Knight or a... just Corpse Knight, because the other one's gone. So Tameo. Tameo's fine. Again, going to... mill themselves. They have not found their piece yet. And are going to name... So 2 Mox Ambers. And still didn't find their card that they're looking for. Still didn't find it. So, wow. And gonna go after Liliana. Yeah, that's what you need to do. And we found it. Okay, so we're gonna infinite mill here. We got the Corpse Knight. And now we're going to, you can cast zombie cards from your graveyard this turn, and we have the combo. So here we go. Pay 0, confirm. And this one's actually a lot, no, this is the same speed. And there is the infinite combo. So a little bit slower this time because of the control for my opponent. But this does it. And it looks like my opponent's going to have me go through it. So any suggestions to this deck are definitely welcome in the comment section. But it gets pretty linear after this. I'm glad we got to see the infinite combo happen. I'm going to definitely, again, the deck that we're playing against, the Sifka deck here. So the combo is the new card out of the M20 that you can cast legendary spells from your graveyard. So that is the combo with my opponent's deck. My opponent's just trying to dig for it. These decks are very, very similar. But I want to build a version of this where the combo is actually Samut and Saheeli. So I don't know if anyone's actually done that yet. So basically, Samut gives all your creatures haste, and Saheeli creates a 0-cost artifact, or excuse me, a 1/1 artifact every time you cast a artifact. So all of your Thopters or Servos or whatever it creates, I believe it's Servos, will come into play with haste. So that is the combo with Samut, and I think it gets kind of interesting because then Samut's really good with Sarkhan, so you can run Sarkhan as the alternate win condition. So if your opponent's actually somehow shut down your graveyard with the Mox Amber, you can still just go into, okay, I'm going to turn all my Planeswalkers into dragons and just kill you on the same turn. So we'll be looking at that deck. I'll probably have that deck out tomorrow with the Samut, Saheeli, Sarkhan. Probably even put Command the Dreadhorde in there, I'm not sure. I'm thinking about the 7-drop card that just returns all legendary permanents from your graveyard. That actually seems pretty good too. So it's going to be very similar to this list, but we actually out-combo the other combo deck. So there you have it. So yeah, so real quickly I'm going to kind of show you the gist of the deck that I'm working on. And yeah, we had some brews 3 days in a row with brews, right? Or maybe I didn't. Did I do a... Nope, I guess we had 3 brews I've showed in this week, which is we are back to brewing. So let's go ahead and create a new deck here with the... So first of all, it'd be Sarkhan. Like Sarkhan, I think, would work out very well in here. So it'd be Sarkhan the Masterless and Saheeli. And then you would also want the legendary spells. So creature out of green, black, and white is the color. So the card that we want, Arena is a pain to search through this, is going to be... Now I'm going to have to click on the not collected because I'm not seeing it here in the... There we go. So it's Kethis. So Kethis allows you to legendary spells cost 1 less to cast and exile 2 legendary cards from your graveyard until in a turn each legendary card in your graveyard gains. You may cast this card from your graveyard. So then the combo is Mox Amber, and I have not made any Mox Ambers, huh? Oh, I got to click on the artifact here. So it'd be Mox Amber times 4 in the deck. And then it's just, at that point, it's just the usual suspects. I'd run a very similar list as what my last opponent was running. So you'd want to be running, but instead of Diligent Excavator and possibly like Fibbletip, maybe you still run like Fibbletip as another something, just a way to loot, or Lazav is another way to loot. You can run, those are both definitely reasonable. But instead of Diligent Excavator, you don't need Diligent Excavator. So everything is cards you can cast back from your graveyard. And Saheeli is the win condition, Saheeli and Samut. So these two together create a creature you can have haste. Whenever you're casting on creature spell, create a 1/1 color servo creature token. So what they're going to do is it's Mox Amber is going to go to your graveyard. You're going to infinitely cast Mox Amber back over again with Saheeli, and then create a bunch of Thopters that then have haste with Samut. So that is, in theory, the route I want to go. And I think, it's very similar to the deck, but what makes it kind of special is you have Sarkhan the Masterless in here as well, that allows you to, until entering each Planeswalker becomes a 4/4 dragon. So if you have a bunch of Planeswalkers out and Samut out, just the combination with Samut, Sarkon, and any other Planeswalkers is going to be lethal with only 5 Planeswalkers. So keep in mind that's another outlet you can go rather than the Diligent Excavator. And we'll be showcasing that probably tomorrow. So anyway, that is all I have for today. Kind of a short little video with the infinite combo for the Liliana adaptation. Let me know any other lists that you want to see. I've worked on, I don't really have a lot of brews for Arena. I still have a lot of brews with MTGO, still working on Soul Sisters, still working on a few other, the Elementals lists and I'm also going to start hitting Pauper hard. Pauper is starting to have a resurgence, and I love Pauper. It's kind of in a bad place right now because of the Jeskai Flicker strategy that's going around right now is very, very good. It's taking over the meta, but let's see if we can crack it in Pauper. So I'll be loading up MTGO with the Pauper cards again. So anyway, hope you enjoyed this video. This has been Kevin with the Rogue Deck Builder. You can click in the links in the description below for the complete deck lists. And if you have any suggestions, feel free in the comment section below. Thanks for watching.